Hello and welcome to another episode of NG Club Live. I am here today with the wonderful, the stupendous, the beautiful, the smart Madeline Welpley. Say hi, Maddie.
Hi.
So today we have a lot to talk about, don't we, Madeline?
Yes.
So we have a couple weeks since our last broadcast, and a lot has happened. Number one of which is the fall session of NG Club at the Roosevelt School is now over. We've gone through 8 weeks, fun weeks of coding with 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, right?
Well, up to 3rd to 5th grade.
3rd to 5th grade. And so many things we learned, so many great experiences and that type of thing. Before we get into some of the details, Maddie, what is in the top of your mind that you remember that you thought was so great that happened over these past 8 weeks or so?
I like doing Scratch.
That was good. What about as far as coding goes, what do you think you learned? What do you think was the biggest thing you learned?
I think I learned a lot from that last day.
Oh, the last day? Well, yeah, okay, let's dive into that. We're going to jump around a little bit here and talk about everything we did. We'll talk about what's coming next and that type of thing. But let's get into this now that you mentioned it. So on that last day, why don't you tell them, what did we do for the last day of NG Club?
So the last day, we actually started writing code to create a website about our favorite character in a book or a movie, and we made the title and we drank, and we actually wrote the code for that, and I learned a lot from writing the code.
Yeah, so just to take a step back and kind of lead into this. So during NG Club, these are all super young kids. They haven't done anything for the most part of software development. And so we actually even started off really simple the first week in doing Robot Turtles, which is a board game, and that even a 3-year-old can play. It's fun, but it's kind of baby steps towards learning how to code. And then we started using Scratch, a new version of Scratch, beta.scratch.mit.edu, which is the new version that isn't fully live yet. But it was an online version of Scratch for doing visual programming. And that was fun too. We actually even, for a number of weeks, were building the Robot Turtles game in Scratch, right?
Yeah, it was fun because I combined 2 lessons.
Yeah.
We made something.
Yeah, it kind of brought together a couple different things.
And then we didn't make it on our own Chromebook. We made it on Big Smart.
That's right. But at the very end, so the last week, I wanted to get to the point where we were doing actual web programming. So I created a template in StackBlitz. So StackBlitz is an online editor for writing various web development code in various frameworks and libraries and that type of thing. So of course we did the Angular template that I was building off of, and I added a couple things so the kids were able to take the template and then add their favorite book character and put the title and then add an image. Actually, what were you going to say?
I ended up just going down and you can just write anything in I think it was what we're doing, HTML, and you can just write anything, it would show up. So I started just writing random things about my book character.
that was part of the fun part, right? Yeah. So Maddie, what were the 3 parts of web development that we talked about? Do you remember those 3?
HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Yes, good job, Maddie. And so we tried to touch on all of them. We focused mostly on HTML in this particular class, and in the editor they were modifying stuff in HTML, and I tried to show them the tags. Actually, some of the most difficult stuff that I didn't think about ahead of time was how that I sort of just don't appreciate enough, I guess, doing it for so long myself, is that certain things, I guess in all code, but in HTML as well, is very particular. You can't do anything different. You can't have a space between an attribute in a tag and equals and then the quotes. You just, even a 1 character difference matters, and obviously the kids were not being exact. But then other things, anything between tags is arbitrary and you can put whatever you want. And trying to explain that difference to kids took a little while. I think some kids got it and some didn't. Do you know what I'm talking about, Maddie? How it was very particular and to put the angle brackets and everything.
I forgot the other one of these at the end, and the picture just literally didn't show up.
Yep. And then we modified a little bit of CSS, changed some colors, right?
We didn't do that. You did.
Oh, you saw me do it, yeah. And then you saw with the JavaScript that we had a variable, an Angular variable that we were changing the variable name and that type of thing. And then the one other thing we did really quickly is I wanted to show them that they could actually see the code for any web page they visited. So we actually went to a couple websites and did right-click DevTools and looked at the code.
We did this in one of our previous episodes too. We show this.
Oh yeah,
thanks.
Thanks for the recap, Maddie. Yes. So that's all good. So after the club, a lot of the kids said that they loved it and wanted to keep doing things. Unfortunately, because this is a school club, the way it works is that the kids that are signed up for one semester, actually, it's got to be a whole new set of kids for the next semester. So we are going to do NG Club again in the winter, but it'll be a whole new set of kids. So what we decided we're going to do is we are going to start from a different point. So we're not going to do Robot Turtles and Scratch. We're actually going to go straight to JavaScript programming, but we'll do like basic JavaScript programming. But also, I didn't want to leave the kids that were in the last session behind, even though they can't come to the day-to-day, the new club. So all the kids that, whether they come to the school sessions or not, they'll be able to follow along with the online lessons. So I hope that over time we'll be able to do that more and more. And actually, even people, if we get good at doing the online lessons, potentially it doesn't have to be people just in our local town. What I'm hoping for is people kind of all over the country or maybe all over the world. What do you think?
Except that, how are we going to make it in a different language?
That'll be a problem for another day, Maddie. We're not going to deal with that right now. The other thing is that we did submit a talk to NGConf. So Maddie is very excited about that, obviously. And not a big deal. I can tell you what the title is that I submitted, and they have a thing for NGConf submissions to create a cool title, and it's got to be part of the theme. And so the theme this year is space. And so the title that I submitted was "Create Your Own Hacker Nebula." So Maddie, do you know what a nebula is?
I think it's like a type of star or galaxy.
Oh, that's close. Yeah. So a nebula is a cloud of dust. A solar nebula is a cloud of dust where stars are born. So the idea is that a hacker nebula we'd be creating our own environment in space for new developers. Hackers is another word for developers. So it's for new developers to be born, which is like you and all the other kids that are doing NG Club. And so the idea is that we would try to do a workshop where we would partake, talk about the lessons learned that from when we've been doing the club, but also and moreover give people the tools to be able to run their own NG clubs or similar type coding clubs in their own local communities, right? So that there's a lot of stuff going on. We actually do have a month break here during December. December is a pretty quiet month in general for both business and school and other such things. So it's going to pay right after the new year. The new NG Club session is going to start, and also actually that's when we'll find out about NGConf and see if we got selected. But even if not, we're gonna that would be just like a small nice thing. But regardless of that, we are going to try to get our curriculum in the online sessions there so that other people can start using them. So we would love feedback. You can see a couple of the sessions. I didn't get a chance to enter all of them on ngclub.info, But if you check them out and give us feedback, you can tweet at us at NG Club Live. And I don't know, Maddie, if you can tell me, what are you most looking forward to for the next round of NG Club
I'm
after the
looking
new year?
forward to learning to actually write the code we did last, because it was just kind of copying the code. I want to really learn how to do that.
It's true. I mean, one thing it's good you brought that up, Maddie, because I think one thing I learned is that although the visual programming stuff in Scratch is very fun and the kids like it and they do learn, there's definitely concepts they learn. In a way, I think it's almost too slow, from the sense that I think, and I'll learn this next semester. I think kids can handle more. That they want to get their hands dirty with kind of the real hardcore stuff. I mean, you want to not try to go too fast where you're overwhelmed and you don't know what's going on. So I think it is important to break things down into a simple form, but potentially just jumping into allowing you guys to do real web programming, right? I think we're going to focus on that a lot more. So, all right, Maddie, any final words? Any final words or thoughts?
Nope.
And what are you most excited for Christmas?
Being in the Nutcracker.
That's right. Yes, Maddie is an aspiring actress and dancer. And
in Melrose Youth Ballet, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our youth ballet.
And I'm Ness.
Yes, she is a mouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's everything's about Christmas right now, and the Nutcracker this next weekend. So we're excited about that, and we'll try to put out another video in a couple weeks. More plans. One thing I am doing that actually should be interesting, I didn't tell you about yet, Maddie, but I am going to create an Angular app for the lessons that people learn. It's using a library from Google called Blockly that essentially allows us to create our own version of Scratch, except with real JavaScript code and web programming stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for that. Like I started to play around with that today, and it's really interesting. So I hope to have something out in a couple weeks, and we'll talk about that the next NG Club Live. So anything else you wanted to talk about?
No.
All right. So that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again on NG Club Live. See ya.